Hey everyone, Anna coming to you today with a tutorial. Part of it that I learned at my local scrapbook place, Remember When, and the other part was a technique that I had thought, hey, let's just try it out. So I'll bring it to you. What I had learned at my local scrapbook store is the technique of the tissue paper and the decoupage. And this is something that I had done over the weekend. And chipboard, the tissue paper stamped, and then some bling. Now, we had learned the decoupage part, so I'm going to show you how we did that. But what I came up with was taking the local, or taking just an everyday tissue paper, and what I had was yellow, so I wasn't sure how that was going to work out. But just a regular tissue paper, some Stays-On ink, your favorite stamp, whatever you want to stamp with, and your image or chipboard that you're going to actually mount the tissue paper to. So that being said, I'll get started. So I just took my tissue paper and stamped my favorite, well, somewhat, I have tons of stamps, so one that I pulled out. And then the reason why I used the Stays-On is because there's going to be some spraying of the color onto the tissue paper, and I wanted to make sure that the ink did not bleed. So with that, I just continued just stamping all over. I wasn't too concerned on how or where the placement was, and I hope I'm still in line. Okay. And with that, I just continued taking that, pressing down hard, and just covering the paper with my stamp. And if you choose to, you can add some areas here. But I think you all get the idea of basically stamping your favorite stamp. So then the next step is to take I used the Starburst sprays, and this is the titanium, oh no, this is the Tibetan poppy teal. Oh, I don't know how to read, but anyways. So go ahead and shake that up. And then from that, I went ahead and I just sprayed my paper, and I gave it a good spray just to cover it all up. And I noticed that the yellow went away. And now I have the color that I want. Then I take my little trusty heat gun. Sorry, I don't have the software yet to fast forward, so unfortunately you're going to have to hear me doing this. But the tissue paper dries pretty fast. And you can use your glimmer mist or anything of that sort. And then just kind of played around with it. So you get the idea. So I'll go ahead now, move this off to the side, and then wipe that down. And then what you do have now is you have your tissue paper, and you crumble it up. And then you bring your item that you want to decoupage, and then you use your Mod Podge. And the first thing you want to do is you want to take your brush right? And then you're going to go ahead and with that, you're just going to give it a coating, the first coating, because this is going to create the tissue paper to stick to your image. And then just kind of paint it all around. Alright, and then what I've done is I picked it up, and I tend to clean it off because the excess paper or tissue paper will want to stick. So with that, you just go ahead, lay out the tissue paper on your form. And you can kind of move it around to where you feel that the tissue paper is sticking. Pat it down. And then what you're going to do is you're going to put another layer of Mod Podge on top. Or Mod Podge. I don't know why I keep calling it Mod Podge. Well, when I was growing up, that's what we called it, but... And then you just kind of paint over, give it a good paint. So you know that your image is fully covered with the Mod Podge. Alright, set that off to the side. And then you're going to go ahead and you're going to take your heating tool and you're going to dry that. And you can actually apply heat pretty close to this because the Mod Podge, it just tends to bubble up and then crystallize. So you won't have any concern of bubbles on your image. And if you choose to and you don't, you want to give it more of a gloss, you can always go back and add it on. Add another layer. Okay. Pretty cool. And then you can either have a choice of, you can tear the paper, but what I did is I took my matte pad, don't laugh, I've had this for 18 years, still going strong. Take your X-Acto blade, and then you can just pretty much slice it, cut it all out. And you can go pretty quick because you kind of want to have the rough edges on the sides of your image. And, just cut around really quick, just enough to get. And if you want to, you can Mod Podge the other side if you'd like, or you can paint it. There you go. Cut through here. Hopefully I'm all in the same. You can see what I'm doing. I'm hoping to get a software program that I can pretty much fast forward so you don't have to see me do all this part, but anyways, get the idea. Just go around. And until the whole is done. And then what you have, and you know what, the Mod Podge is still, when it's still a little wet, you can kind of fold over your corners, rub that in, and there you have it. There it is. And you can go ahead and you can distress the edges. This is like what I did. I did this in the green. This was, I think, the pirate green. No, that's copper. But anyways, I did this one. I used a different stamp, crumpled it up. I had a bigger piece of tissue paper, crumpled it up, and then just kind of laid more of the gathering over my image. And then I went ahead and distressed it with some black, and there you go. And that is the technique of the Mod Podge, but actually taking regular tissue paper, stamping it with the image that you want, glimmer misting, Lindsay Stamp Gang, whatever, and spraying the color that you want, crumbling up your paper, laying it on top of a thin coat of Mod Podge, then going ahead and coating it. And like I said, I can coat this again if I want. I gave this one 2 coats, and you can see the difference in the surface. And you can bling it and design it the way you want it. So hopefully you enjoyed my tutorial, my first one. Hopefully it wasn't too bad. All right, everyone take care. Have fun crafting today, and I'll see you next time.